bit of spoken word. So please.
Let's go, Rock.
That was amazing, you guys. That was so rad. This piece, this poem has no conclusion, it has no ending. So lower all your standards, let them fall like the raindrops. Any expectations, just do away with them right now, because that leads to disappointment, and I don't like to disappoint. This piece, this poem, it has no conclusion, it has no ending, because this is a story about a girl whose story is yet unfolding, and your expectations and your statements and your decisive conclusions about who she's meant to be just box her in and cave her in into a world she doesn't fit in, into a world in which she cannot bloom. So do away with the box, do away with the expectations, do away with the corners and the walls that you build up and she cannot tear down. The more and more she fights, see, she is developing. She was young and she was beautiful and she was misunderstood, but when she was misunderstood, there was one lover, one man, one God, one Messiah who saw her, who created her, made her fearfully and wonderfully made, and deemed her the treasure she thought that she was in exploring, journeying on her way of beginning and end, and figuring out who she was, who she is, and who she was perceived to be. See, I am a voyager. I am exploring the corners and confinements of who I am, the possibilities of who I can be. I am a journey. I am exploring. I am an adventure. I am finding out the treasure that lies ahead, until I found out that I was never lost, but that I was the treasure itself, the treasure that was worth more than rubies, according to one who promises to show me great and mighty things that I could never know if I seek upon him. And the question lies within the answer. I was never lost. See, we come and we look and we search to, quote unquote, find ourselves, but along the way we lose ourselves. And so I'm coming back to understanding who I was, and I ask God, so take me back. Take me back to that place where I was young, where we ran free, where we didn't need shoes, we didn't need standards, we didn't need time, and everything just existed and stopped within itself, because you and I existed alone. No boxes, just a pot in which you planted a seed, and that seed was me, and I was able to bloom and flourish into whatever you wanted me to be, whatever I could be. There was no possibility, no limitation. See, my story is beginning. See, I am Esther, not Esther at the end of the story saying, if I perish, I perish, commanding a nation to fast and plead and pray. See, I am Esther standing behind the king's door, deciding whether or not to enter. I am the Samaritan woman, not telling her testimony to the nation, but I am the Samaritan woman on her way to the well, simply because I am thirsty. See, I am Rebecca far before she met Isaac, awaiting simply for Abraham's servant to find her. My story is beginning, so your limitations and your expectations and your standards are ones that I don't want, so please lower them and let them fall like the rain. Because there is only one voice, one definition, and one standard to which I want to stand for and I want to arise for, and that is God's, that is Yahweh, because he is my king, he is my Elohim, he is my Alpha and Omega. He wrote this story and he decides how it ends, and the enemy might want part in this rough draft, but the story's already finished, the story's already established, the story's already defined, and there is nothing and no one that stands in my way. So please, hold back your expectations, because in a room full of people, crowded with thousands and thousands of young adults, we each feel lonely all within our heads, but we are yet to understand that if the enemy can get you to question who you are, he can get you to do anything. Ask Eve in the garden, she knew who she was until he asked her, do you want to be like God? Because that fruit on that tree can make you all-knowing. And suddenly, she questioned who she was and did things that she didn't understand, things that she regretted. Asked Jesus in the desert when the enemy promised things and things upon his identity, promising to make him greater and give him worshipers, promises that truly are empty and lack in so many ways. So know who you are, find your identity in he who is the Messiah, because our God is greater. And sometimes I feel like throwing my hands up in the air and just giving up, and sometimes I feel like throwing my hands up in the air, but I know I can count on you. Sometimes I feel like saying, Lord, I just don't care, but you got the love I need to see me through. And that love, that's that love that pushes Esther through that door, finding herself, defining herself. So allow me the confinements, the privilege, the ability to break down, tear down the walls that you built up on my behalf. Thank you.